Hello everyone, I'm your boy Ben Boy, and I am joined by...
The Brett Boy over here. And I hate to inform you, but your regularly scheduled train wreck is in and ready for business.
Yeah. We're, welcome to episode... I always forget the fucking episode. No, I know this. Wait, now I know this. I think this is 7. I'm not gonna look this time, damn it. This is 7. Alright, I almost am positive that it is 7.
What if last one was 7? You're just gonna make
Shut
this
up.
one 7 again?
I'm gonna make this one 7.9. Alright. But hello. Welcome to the podcast. This episode of the BnB podcast is sponsored by Dumbassery. So
Oh yeah?
yeah, Dumbassery.
You finally got them to say yes?
Yeah, dude, Dumbassery is a great way to be a dumbass. Yo.
Mm.
It's a non-paid sponsorship. By the way, that wasn't.
So they don't get
by the way, viewers,
one.
that wasn't your computer. That
response.
was mine. Don't think that one of your fucking devices is just disconnected. That was mine. Anyway. Yeah. So today we have 4.5 topics, if that makes sense.
How do you have half a topic?
Well, because I want to talk about it briefly, but I don't want to like spark an entire fucking debate that's gonna take the podcast over a fucking hour long. But I do want to talk about it because it is pretty important. But that's not gonna be till the end of the podcast. I have 4 topics here, big boy. All of them are Game Informer again because I like Game Informer.
Jesus Christ. Welcome to the BnB podcast, where if you want to see what's happening, all you have to do is go read a Game Informer magazine.
Pretty much, yeah. So here's the dildo, okay? First topic is about Call of Duty, but it's not talking about its gameplay or a lot of the new features. It's talking about literally one of the dumbest things ever. It's dumb, but it could be cool. So let me go ahead and click on the link here. So Game Informer, this article was made on the 6th, so yesterday, at 1 p.m. by Brian Shea, and the headline is Call of Duty Modern Warfare features a Tamagotchi. Do you know what a Tamagotchi is? That's like that little like handheld game of the pets.
Oh.
Yeah.
The one where where basically people were trying to brag about, oh, my Tamagotchi's still alive.
Yeah.
It's been like 16 years. I don't believe you.
Which by the way, I always pronounced it Tamagotchi, but it's spelled like Tamagunchi. Tamagunchi, or at least maybe they respelled it for their purposes. But well, actually, you know what? It probably is a respelling because Tamagotchi is probably copyrighted. So they probably named it Tamagunchi for obvious reasons. Anyway, last week we revealed our September 2019 cover story is Infinity Ward's reimagining of its flagship sub-series, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. While we'll still have exclusive interviews and impressions throughout the month, we wanted to lead with the most important detail. You can equip your character with a digital pet that is known as a Tamagotchi. This oddball idea was born from art director Joel Esmile's passion for watches. We put in a watch pretty early on. One of our coders got really excited about it over a weekend, synced up a dev kit to have the actual time on the watch, so it actually tells the real time from your kit. Multiplayer design director Jeff Smith says. So, really quickly deviating from the article, I actually retweeted a tweet on Twitter about this. They're basically Charlie Intel, who's a big COD news source. They specifically retweeted one of their own articles about how the watch that your character has in the game displays the real time on your system, whether that be on your PS4, on your Xbox, or on your PC. It will actually display the time displayed, which I thought was cool, but when I retweeted it, I was like, yeah, this is cool and all, but can we make sure the fucking core game fucking works first before we do this extracurricular shit? And I guess they decided to take that technology and go a step further and add this Tamagotchi thing. So that's interesting, I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a stickler, so not really all that impressed.
Yeah, I'm not really impressed by it either. It's just kind of a thing. The games have done that before. It's not that special. There have been whether if it's a mod add-on or part of the legitimate game, there have been games out there who will like sync the in-game time with your real-life time, or have the capability of doing that. Or there will be games where maybe the time is off, but the date is correct, if that makes sense. You know, it's been done before, is my point, and it's
Let me
not
put it
that
this
hard.
way. That technology was fairly simple back in the days of the PlayStation 2. So for them to be showboating about it now kind of disappoints me.
Well, even a little bit earlier than that, because I mean, it's not telling the time, but it's the same principle of the game reading information off of the system. That happened in fucking Metal Gear Solid. Psycho Mantis would read your memory card and could tell if you've played another Konami game on it or not. It's kind of the same thing. Like, games can read your system. That's kind of because the system reads the game, thus there's a two-way passage of information there. So the game can access your system. That's why a lot of like scam games happen. Or like that's why if you look at these videos of the .exe games freezing up people's computers, it's because they have the capabilities of doing that. I remember a while back Markiplier played a horror game where in order to beat the game or beat the Easter egg or whatever it was, the whole idea was that the whole community of that game had to work together to beat it. Basically, there was an object in the game that... Okay, so there was like this chest in the game, I think it was, right? It was like a chest at the foot of a statue. And you would throw, like, items from the game into that chest. It would convert the item into code, and then throw the item in a folder within your computer in the game titled, I don't know, conversion chest or something. And if you go in that folder, there is your item there, just in a file format for you to then upload online. And the whole idea was that every individual copy of the game that each person bought had a different, like, I think it was either a VHS tape or like a key card or some shit like that, and everyone had a different version, and you had to like download it from online, and people had to kind of figure out this Easter egg or how to beat the game by working together with the different sources of code. It was very cool. It was a really fucking awesome idea. The only unfortunate thing was Markiplier hopped on the boat way late, and everything was already figured out, but it was really cool. I enjoyed watching him play that because it was just an interesting dynamic that he had to go to outside sources outside of the game to then download these files to then put in his own game to beat the game. Now, if it were like Fallout and you just had to get a mod to beat the game, that would be really dumb. But the devs intending it is really cool.
Yeah, no, like... Gonna take a little bit more than that to impress me, guys. Come on.
Okay, so here's the last two paragraphs that I'll read from this article, because this article is actually really long, and I don't feel like spending a lot more time talking about Call of Duty in this episode. So, eventually the team decided to implement a digital pet inspired by the Tamagotchi. Okay, so yeah, it is spelled Tamagotchi correctly here, so it's just a copyright thing. Inspired by the Tamagachi craze of the 90s, which you can choose to equip your character in multiplayer and the co-op Spec Ops mode. Think of the Tamagotchi as a pet you need to feed and care for, but instead of food, you nurture it with kills. Go on a wild kill streak, it'll chirp with delight as you rack up the points. Hit a dry spell, it'll get angry and demand you do better. This little thing on your wrist, every time you go on a string of kills, it goes, Yatta! And it makes a little noise. Then you look at it, and it evolved out of an egg, Esmily says. Tamagotchis are fed by the player's performance in multiplayer. It's just this little active wristwatch thing. So, basically a little thing that they added to the game to look at on your arm, I guess, while you're playing. I think it's kind of a fun idea, but again, they need to make sure that the rest of the fucking game works and the servers won't crash on launch day before they do this dumb shit. Like, fuck.
Oh, please. The servers are going to crash on launch day no matter what they do. Come on.
Yeah, dude, the track record is not great. I think it was Black Ops 3, didn't they have a beta, but the servers still fucking crash day one?
Yeah. Okay, and to top it off, even if they don't crash on launch day, somebody will hack them the second day in.
Yeah, people are fucking assholes like that. I love to point out, I just want to pause from the podcast real quick, just to point out that all day today, while I was editing and uploading and all that shit, not one person bothered me. Now, I know that you tried to send me messages, but I wouldn't have seen that as bothering since we still had to record the podcast. That's still, like, work-related stuff. But not one person bothered me all day today. The minute we start recording this podcast, I suddenly have 3 pings. 2 of them are DMs, and 1 is a ping in a server. It's like, god damn it, dude. Yeah. Like, fuck. Why are people bothering me right as I start the podcast, dude? Fuck. I'm not gonna look at them until after we're done with this, though, because fuck that.
Well, of course. Right. Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah. Alright. So, next article. You know what Evo is?
Evo. No.
It's basically kind of like a convention, kind of like E3, but it's I don't know much more about it other than that. It's basically kind of like an E3 type. So EVO 2019, Evo says Metal Gear Solid cameo video was not a DLC reveal for Tekken 7. So this is basically kind of like a story of, like, a development team throwing in a joke, and then the fans taking it and just fucking full sprinting with it. So the original story is during EVO 2019, Bandai Namco teased a partnership with Konami during Tekken's presence at the annual tournament that will bring Solid Snake into Tekken 7 as a DLC fighter. The tease was not streamed and instead presented exclusively to show attendees. Associate Director Cyril Vasquez is at EVO 2019 and confirms the tease. In the tease, Tekken producer Katsuhiro Harada was seen speaking with Solid Snake in a codec conversation. This isn't Snake's first appearance in a fighting game, as he was famously appeared in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and then returned to Super Smash Bros. Last year for Ultimate. Now...
Yep.
There's
still broken.
Yeah. Now there's an update, though. Evo has issued an update on Twitter clarifying that the video of Solid Snake may be believed to be a tease for some Metal Gear Solid related Tekken 7 DLC was, quote, our idea of a little joke. This is the tweet from Evo. At Evo. Just to clear things up, the Snake cameo video that we showed during Tekken Finals was our idea of a little joke. It was not intended to imply a character reveal and was done on our own without consulting Bandai Namco. Sorry for any confusion. In other words, they wanted to make a fucking joke, and everyone's like, character DLC? Nani? Like,
come on, guys. You can't make a joke like that in the middle of a fucking convention.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's fucking...
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of dumb shit, dude. That's all it is.
The desperate fanboys will always take it too far.
Yeah, right? Like, you fucking show But like, and again, I don't see this kind of speculation as bad because it's kind of cool and it's fun to speculate. But when it turns bad is when people take it as gospel, right? It's the same thing with Halo Infinite. When they revealed like the first ever teaser and you see Chief like putting a chip in the back of his head, people like fucking zoomed in and fucking tried to clean up the fucking video, and they zoomed in really far and tried to read the numbers and letters on the fucking registry to the chip to try to find out a registry number to identify what AI it was. And when they didn't recognize it, they're like, well, maybe it's this new AI named I forget what his name was, like Drenel or something. It started with a D, and they were like, because Cortana and Roland are like two characters from this ancient mythological poem about, you know, this king and his sword Cortana at fighting this other dude who has a dual-wielded swords, Roland, and this Dremel guy, and they're like supposed is like a significant. It's like, dude, it's cool that you're delving in this deep, and Bungie knows their shit, and that's why they chose the names for these characters. But you don't have to start going on these giant long tirades about, oh, this is the AI, and this is how the story will play out in the game. Like, just, it's fine to have theories, and it's fine to explore that, but when I hear people telling me, it's the AI that the Chief has is Drenel, and then, or whatever his name was, and then I'm like, I mean, it could be a second.
Do you know?
Yeah, and then I'm sitting here like, well, it could be a second Cortana, and they're like, no, you're fucking idiot, you're fucking wrong, it's totally Drenel. It's like, no, shut up. It's just a theory, a game theory, thanks for watching. Shut up. Alright. So, moving on to the next topic. This one I'm excited about. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've actually been kind of trying to get to this one because I'm so excited about this one. Yeah, that's because we have a lot. Well, mainly because we have a lot of topics, but also because I specifically wanted to get to this one because these next two are Halo themed, and I know that you're not a big fan of Halo, but this specific one.
I am quite a big fan of Halo. I just don't have the system to play on it.
Oh,
you know?
Okay, yeah. But, nah, this one I'm super excited about. So this...
Don't underplay me like that.
I'm sorry, Brett. I'm just super excited! So, this article is Showtime's Halo TV show casts Cortana and more. So we're actually getting casting for the TV show! I don't know if you know about the TV show at all that they're planning.
Nope!
Okay, we don't even have a name for it yet. But it's going to be directed by Steven Spielberg, like legitimately. It's going to be directed by Steven Spielberg. And now we're having casting currently undergoing. Now I could show you the pictures now, but I'm actually going to wait until after the podcast if you want to see the pictures of all these people. But so there's actually a link to another article, which is why I wanted to get to this one and why this one's going to take a hot minute. Because there's actually kind of two articles in one, but this isn't the half article, it's kind of two articles in one. The second article is Halo finds its Master Chief for Showtime's TV series. Now, the reason why I brought this one up is because I wanted to tell you who Master Chief was going to be. Master Chief is going to be played by Pablo Schreiber.
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, a lot of these people I didn't know who they were, but once I looked up pictures of them, I realized, like, okay, they could play these characters, right? So,
do we know where he's from? Like, do we know anything about this guy?
Pablo Schreiber, his two biggest credits are a show, or a movie, I don't know if it's a show or a movie, I've never heard of it, called American Gods, and he was also in the TV series Orange is the New Black.
Uh-huh.
And
the only thing I know about Orange is the New Black is that it's a women's prison TV show.
Yeah. So I don't know what he's doing in there, but that's all I know too. So I mean, I've heard it's a good show. I heard all the actors in it are very good at what they do. But
and they're good. But...
Now, one of the things, actually, I'll just send them to you now. Fuck it. Because I can copy the images. I thought I'd have to download them and then resend them to you. So I sent you an image of the dude who's going to play Chief. Now, hair color and all that shit aside, He does look an awful lot like if you look at just his eyes and the bridge of his nose and like the crow's feet around his eyes and shit, he actually looks a lot like the dude that was teased at the end of Halo 4. If you beat Halo 4 on Legendary, you get a little extension to the final cutscene when they, under normal circumstances, they go to take off Sheep's helmet and it's just a black screen underneath. But if you beat it on Legendary, when they take it off, you get a peek at his eyes and like that part of his face, and then it cuts to black. So he actually does kind of look like the eyes and shit that were in that. So if they, instead of giving him leprechaun ass look like he has there, and they give him like a legitimate, like, if they shave him and, like, not all of him obviously, but if they shave his facial hair, they shave his head, they dye his eyebrow, they keep either his eyebrows natural or dye them black, and they either have him put in context or they digitally edit his eyes to be blue, like a bluish green, that would be perfect, because that's the eyes that Chief has. He has like bluish green eyes. He would look, I think he would look great as a Chief. The only thing that I'm concerned about is I have no clue how tall he is. I want to find out how tall he is, because if this motherfucker is not like at least 6'5", they're going to have to edit him to be taller. Which
I mean, so what is the basis of this show? Are they gonna have, like, what is...
As far
I don't know about this show.
I know, as far as I know, the show is not centered around Chief himself so much as just the Spartan 2 project in general. So I'm assuming that it is going to be a show about the tales of the Halo Spartan 2s from the time that Halsey made them onwards. Just kind of like an episodic story about all their different operations and stuff. Is again that's what I'm assuming. Because all we have is casting. We don't know anything about the plot or what the show's even going to be called. We just know that he is cast as Chief. I didn't get his height, but whatever. That's kind of irrelevant at this point. As long as they can either put them on stilts or edit... Because I'm assuming... I would hate if this were true, but I'm going to assume that all of the armors in the show are going to be CG.
I mean... that would be horrendous.
Well, not necessarily. If they do it correctly, it'll look good. But CG on a TV show is notorious for being bad. So I'm hoping that they have practical prop suits as well as CG suits. Because, like, you look at a movie... Go ahead. Sorry.
I think I understand a reason why they wouldn't use... real suits. And the main idea behind that would be along the lines of, well, these suits are supposed to be like the pinnacle of their tech at that point. Like, there's practically nothing that's getting through that. Right?
Yeah.
Well...
Mjolnir is...
We can't have our immersion broken by some dude doing a stunt fall and his armor getting scuffed to shit.
Yeah, and I
mean, from hitting the ground.
And Halo armor does get scuffed, but it's the reason why I think they're gonna go CG.
It's scuffed by explosions, not landing on cement.
Yeah. I think the thing that they're gonna go with for the reason why I think they're gonna go with CG is, you ever see the movie or see clips of the movie Chappie?
No.
Okay,
I refused.
But it's a movie about a robot basically adapting to human life, is what I gathered from it. I never watched the film, but I've seen like clips from it. That robot in that movie, they had a practical actor in a motion in like a suit, right? I'm not sure exactly what the suit did. It was like soft motion capture, meaning like rather than motion capture in a 3D environment, it was more 2D motion capture. So they had him in a 2D motion capture suit. They acted out the scenes. Then they actually did make physical Chappie props. But instead of dressing him up in a suit, they brought the physical Cappy props to the set, to the locations, and they took they took a bunch of pictures of it in different spots around the set. So in that way, when they go to digitally put Cappy or Chappie on the actor, they had the absolute correct final lighting. So in my mind, what I can imagine them doing is making practical suits, have the actors act in those practical suits, maybe minus helmets, and then, but they're not like fully detailed like the actual suits. They're not like full on like Master Chief armor suit. It's just kind of like an acting prop version of the suit that has enough detail that while they're acting out the scenes, they're also filming them acting them. And then those recordings, the CG team will use for like lighting and stuff for when the suits actually get put in CG. That's what I think they're gonna do for the show. They could do it a completely different way, but that's what I see would be the most time-effective, cost-efficient way of making CG suits. Because I doubt they're gonna go with practical prop suits.
I would like them to, but the problem is it would be too. It'd be too much.
Yeah, definitely.
Like for the actors, I guarantee this guy isn't built enough for them to build a proper fucking suit for him.
Well, here's another thing. I do think that there will be practical suits. I do think that there will probably be even detailed practical suits the actors will wear and will even make it into the final cut of the show. Problem is, I think those suits that aren't going to be CG are only going to be like at most probably like waist up or maybe even like half full body suits. So then that way the actor doesn't have to put on the entire suit at one time. They can either just put on the lower half for a shot or put on the upper half for a shot. Because they are big suits. They are very big and very bulky, and it definitely restricts an actor's way that they're going to act.
Yeah.
So what I think they'll do is they'll either do half suits, and then they'll only use the practical like prop suits for very slow scenes, like very slow dramatic scenes where maybe two characters are just talking, or you know there's like a slow, like for example at the end of Halo 4, I think it was when Lasky and Chief are having kind of like a heart-to-heart scene, looking out over like the Earth from the observation deck of the UNSC Infinity. When they're just standing there talking is kind of when they're going to use probably the practical props. But when they're actually like in fight scenes where they're running around shooting guns or like there's like explosions going off and there's action, they'll probably definitely use CG suits. But yeah. So moving on to the other cast, I don't know if you'll recognize any of these names. I know I fucking didn't, but for anyone who's actually watching the podcast who knows these people and is prevalent in actor names and faces and all that stuff, along with Master Chief, the casting for Cortana and other new characters in the show have come together. It has recently been announced that Natasha McElhone, which I'm going to copy and paste her name into Google and then bring up a picture of her. She's going to be playing Dr. Halsey / Cortana. Now, when I first saw this female, right? No, she looks so good for a Dr. Halsey / Cortana, at least to me. Look at this woman. Tell me that she does not look like a Halsey or Cortana. She looks almost perfect for this fucking role in terms of her looks. Now, whether for actual acting ability will hold up, she looks like she could make a good Halsey. All right. So they have Halsey and / Cortana. Fine, she looks the part anyway. I don't know about her acting part. I just said Cortana and my actual computer Cortana. Stop it! Keeps activating. But she looks the part. She looks great for the role that she's gonna have. They are also casting other actors newly announced include Bokeem Woodbine. Don't know who he's playing. Shabana Azmi. I believe she is playing Margaret Pernogsky, who is the admiral who approved of the Spartan 2 program to Halsey, so she's going to be playing the admiral. Bentley Kalu, don't know who they're playing. Natasha Kolzak, and Kate Kennedy, again, don't know who they're playing. Bokeem is known for his roles in Fargo and Spider-Man Homecoming, and is going to be playing... Oh, never mind, yeah. Keem is going to be playing Soren 066, who is one of the Spartans. Azmi is going to take the part of Parangoski, like I said. And the remaining 3 actors are going to be new characters added to the Halo universe for the show. All 3 are cybernetically enhanced soldiers with their own quirks, be it courageous, collegial, or even deadly. So, my assumption is that the other people named will be other Spartans. Is what I'm assuming. Just to be announced Spartans. So, that shit is fucking cool. I'm glad that this show actually...
look into this.
I'm glad that this show is actually, like, becoming fucking something new. When they said they're gonna make a Halo TV show, I was like, yeah, no, this shit hard. Like, they're probably not even gonna make it. Kind of like the FNAF movie. Like, the FNAF movie is, by the way, still in development. It's still happening. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It's just, it's taking a while.
What?
Yeah, there's a Five Nights at Freddy's movie that's gonna be happening. It's just really hard to... It's just taking a while, apparently, because Scott Cawthon and the studio making it, they can't really agree on a story for it. Because FNAF's lore and its story is so fucked beyond complicated that they're trying to figure out what story they want to tell. They want to know, like, oh, are we going to tell the story of the books? Are we going to tell, like, a new story? Are we going to fucking do this, that, or the other thing? There's still, like...
How about we get an origin story of how the animatronics turned into killing machines?
I mean, we already have that in the games, but yeah. I understand your point, though.
How? Not that they are already, like... How these animatronics went from children's idols to I'm going to rip your skin off and put you in a suit.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would work. That'd be really cool, actually. But so we're actually already 32 minutes into this fucking podcast, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I kind of, quote-unquote, rushed a little bit through the first couple, because this shit's taking a long time, and I knew it would. So the second to last, or the last, like, true topic, again, is another Halo-related thing. But this is interesting. This is really fucking weird and interesting to me. So let me open the link in new tab. Let me give you a link to it so you can listen for yourself, as well as I'll actually let it play on the podcast because I'm actually able to do that. So, and since it's only a voice clip or an audio clip, there's no video. So although podcast, it'll seem like we're watching a video, we are not. All of this is just sound effect, and I will play it here in a minute once I read this. So, hidden QR code in Halo Infinite trailer reveals Cortana audio clip. Halo Infinite 6-minute trailer at E3 this year was already filled with ambiguity, and a recent discovery proves it. Across Twitter and Reset Era, I'm not sure what Reset Era is, I'm assuming it's some sort of platform, fans have been speculating about the discovery of an audio clip linked to a QR code hidden in the trailer discovered by @Exurial. So he found the QR code. It's a little stretched and fucked in the trailer, but he unstretched it, and it's only there for, like, literally a single frame. And so he converted it from, like... So basically, it displays... You know that moment in the trailer when the pilot, he plugs in... He plugs in the 2 cords, and it powers up Chief's suit? Well, during all that flashing shit on his screen is when the QR code pops up. So it's only for a frame. And so the dude took it off that and redid it in black and white so he could read it. So I will now play the 40-second audio clip for the podcast.
This is part of me. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it is me.
Alright, so that fucking audio clip is pretty fucking wild. So we hear... So, the 40-second audio clip, this is from the article, by the way. I was gonna just about explain it, but the article explains it as well. The 40-second audio clip begins with mostly ambiance and the sound of echoing footsteps. Until Cortana begins speaking, this is a part of me, she says. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it is me. Alright, and also something that the article didn't note is you hear a lot of the similar sounds that you hear from when Cortana would, like, interrupt you in Halo 3 and she'd appear on your screen and you'd be quote-unquote KIA and you'll start, like, you know, walking slow and shit. Like, all that random noise in the background, that also is in this audio clip, which I find very interesting. Fan speculation began, and with it came the complicated lore compiling, which I will try to explain here. During the events of Halo 4, Cortana began a process of advanced degradation called rampancy. During her rampancy, there were many fragments of her that she used to hold the Didact back long enough for Master Chief to defeat him. The speculation is that one of these fragments did not return to Cortana before she was saved from her rampancy by Forerunner technology, and that the audio clip hints at two Cortanas, one from Halo 5 and one that is not... God damn it. My actual computer Cortana came up.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, speculation that one of the fragments did not return to her. I'm just gonna say to her, and not say the name, before she was saved from her rampancy by Forerunner technology, and that the audio clip hints at two of them, one from Halo 5 and one that was not a part of Halo 5. This is merely speculation, and what happens to her, and the meaning of this clip are still yet to be revealed. It is an exciting secret, though, and causes one to wonder what else we have yet to find. And of course, Halo Infinite is going to release it in holiday 2020. But it's interesting to speculate what all that means, because one of the running theories was that when Chief, like, after they run away, they get Halsey to create a second version of her, of Cortana. No, I didn't say hey. I didn't follow that up at first with hey. There was no hey there. I just said your name. They're saying that they're getting Halsey to make another AI. Wink, wink. I'm fighting my computer here, and they're getting Halsey to make a second AI to help go take down the original one. Is essentially what the running fan theory was, even before this audio clip was found. That was one of the theories. So, I think like this kind of strengthens the theory a little bit, which is pretty fucking cool.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? What's your speculation on this?
I don't have all that much knowledge in the Halo lore, mainly because I haven't been able to play it. I haven't been able to dive headfirst into it like I wanted to, because I don't have a fucking console for it. Anyway, continuing on.
Yeah.
Despite that, it's less of a theory and more of just a what I would like to see.
Yeah.
It would be nice. I would prefer it if it turned out in such a way as this other fragment of Cortana that never returned, as you said, found its way to Halsey, was stabilized, and effectively reestablished as Cortana. Rather than Cortana in 5 being the end-all be-all. But then that would lead to why wasn't anything said about it, so on and so forth.
Yeah. But there's a lot of theories floating around. And there's no way to tell. Again, it goes back to that whole thing where it's like, stop saying that. Y'all need to stop saying that shit is like fucking like scripture, like it's a Halo Bible, and just take it as what it is, just a theory. People tend to take theories as gospel all the time. It's ridiculous.
Right. Perhaps nothing was said because Halsey didn't want anyone to know, because if anyone found out that there was a rogue piece of Cortana floating around, you know, Cortana, this AI that has gone so far or beyond anything that we could stop.
Yeah.
They would just go, okay, dead, gone, bye.
Yeah, I mean, there's only ever... It's confirmed that there has only ever been one Cortana as of now. It could be her fragmentation in Halo 4. Could be a... It could be one of them, or Halsey could just create a brand new one. Because Halsey's still alive, and she's still very capable of doing things. As seen at the end of 5. So... we really don't entirely know what's going to happen, but we'll find out when the game releases. So we are currently at the 42-minute mark, so we're going to wrap up this podcast with one last little half topic. I'm not going to get too hard into it, but I do want to bring it up because I find it very interesting, okay? So this is from Associated Press. And the headline is, Bipartisan Red Flag Gun Laws Plan Has Support in Congress. So here's the thing. We all should know by now about the 2 mass shootings that happened very recently.
Right.
One in, I believe, Arizona, and the other one, I believe, in Ohio, right? I think those were the 2 places. I don't remember the specific town names, but I remember that was where the 2 states. They both happened within 24 hours of each other, and the combined death toll from both of them was 30 plus. It's a horrible atrocity.
Fuck.
Nobody's doubting that. Nobody's saying it wasn't that bad or anything like that. It's a horrible atrocity. And, you know, people are still grieving and trying to move forward from it. Here's the issue. This has sparked, again, people... Well, I mean, I say again annoyingly, but this part isn't so annoying because, you know, it's still a problem, apparently, to most people. It sparked talks about gun laws again. But the annoying part is that it sparked, again, talks about violent video games causing people violent tendencies, which just isn't the case. There's no factual proof.
Because video games were so, you know, crucial in the comings of World War II, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's so stupid. The whole, like, video games cause violence stuff is stupid. If somebody plays a video game and then they turn around and take what they saw in that video game and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go try this in real life, they're sick. Okay? It has nothing to do with the actual video game itself. That person
shouldn't have been allowed to play the said game in the first place.
It's the person playing it who has either a mental disorder or a disability, or their just morals are fucked. It's the person playing the game, not the people who made the game or the game physically itself's fault. Branching off of that, a lot of people have been talking about gun control now, and this red flag law has been instated. And honestly, I don't know if I like it yet or not. I feel like it could be employed.
Red flag law.
I feel like it could be employed very well, but it depends on how Congress and how the people who make the law establish it. So now this article is fucking huge because it's politics and people want to make sure that they explain everything clearly. But basically, I'm just going to read this part. So how does a red flag law work? In general, red flag or, quote, extreme risk protection order laws allow courts to issue temporary orders barring someone from possessing guns based on some showing of imminent danger or risk of misuse. State laws vary, but most stipulate that only specific people, usually family or household members, may petition a court for an extreme risk protection order. In some cases, a preliminary order may be granted without prior notice to the person who is in the subject of the order. Such an order typically is brief, ranging from a few days to about 3 weeks. Once the person who is alleged to pose a risk of gun violence has been given an opportunity to respond, a more permanent order may be granted, typically for up to a year. So, basically what this red flag law would do is, let's say hypothetically, Brett, that me and you are roommates in the future, okay?
Yep.
And I want to buy a firearm, but...
Yep.
And let's just say I possess a firearm. But
okay.
I have been worrying you recently by, let's just say, making jokes that you thought went a little too far about shooting you or shooting up a place, or I'm showing really terrible signs of depression and I start cutting myself for some shit and I'm basically into self-harm, and basically, in other words, serious mental issues start stemming, right? Like serious...
That's just a situation where guns need to start disappearing.
Yes. At that point, without my knowledge, you could go to the city or the state court and file a report with them saying, look, this person is starting to worry me, they're a bit unstable, I would like to keep them from firearms. At that point, the local police department will detain my firearms from me, and then I will be put under investigation with psychological tests and all that other shit to find out if I am eligible to continue having them. That is what I understand that this would be like. If that is the extent of it, I am fine with it. I think that's actually kind of a good idea, personally.
No, that itself is a brilliant idea. However, I don't trust our government to leave it at that.
It's exactly my point. I have a feeling that they will then try to continue it on and try to start constricting even more and even more and even more through the spaces, to the point of, now imagine this. Now imagine if they take it to a point where now all of a sudden a police officer can file this report and start restricting people. That's when it starts, like, when other people start getting involved, that one is when it starts becoming an issue for me. Because don't get me wrong, if a trusted person around me knows me well enough to understand that I'm sick in the head, that I am fine with. Now, although, yeah, if somebody's sick in the head and somebody else tattles on them and says, like, yeah, I think they're pretty sick in the head, they shouldn't have firearms, yeah, you'll be pissed at them, but ultimately it's for the sick in the head person's own good, right? And it proves, if it depends on who it is filing the report. If it's some random Joe Schmo off the side of the street just trying to get that person in trouble, that should be dismissed immediately. But if it's a family member, like the article said, if it's a family member...
How do you know this person? I don't.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah, that's where the article says, like, a family member or a spouse or somebody who knows the person well files this report, then yes, that isn't completely valid, and I can understand that system actually working because that person actually knows the fucker who they're filing the report about. But the minute a police officer has the right, like, for example, let's just say there's a domestic dispute. Let's just say a dude hit his wife. They go into the house and they find firearms, and that police officer is now like, okay, you're not allowed to have firearms because you show tendencies of violence. That would be so fucked. Because just because, like, yeah, the dude's an asshole for hitting his wife, but that doesn't mean the dude's about to go out and start shooting people. Doesn't mean he's gonna murder his wife.
I can understand that particular scenario to an extent. That extent being, like, okay, he shows hostile tendencies towards loved ones. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen situations where domestic abuse escalates quickly. Very, very quickly. Like, and it's not just one side. It's not just one-sided. It's more along the lines of, hey, this guy owns a gun and he sometimes hits his wife when he's been drinking too much. Nobody in this house needs to have a gun nearby. Because what's going to stop the woman later on from boiling over, grabbing the gun, and ending that man?
Well, either that or another thing is
What's going to stop the man from taking it too far, grabbing the gun, and blowing her head off?
Yeah, and not only that, but also, if you think about it, the law already has instated that people who are, in most states, people who are convicted of assault and battery crimes are not permitted to own a firearm in general anyway. So. But, anyways, we should really wrap this up, because we're just about to hit the 51-minute mark.
Woo!
This thing's gonna be hell to fucking render out and upload. Oh my god, I'm literally gonna wake up in the morning, start it, and it won't fit until fucking... Anyways, I didn't want that to drag on too long, and comparatively to all the other stuff, especially about the Halo TV show, I don't think that did drag on too much. So I'm gonna cut it short here. Thank you all so much for watching the BnB podcast this episode. Next episode, I'm going to try to make an effort to remember to check the hashtag on Twitter. Again, probably no one did shit. I'm still expecting one of you to use hashtag BnB Ben and Brett and just say you're gay. I actually unironically want to see somebody do that. I hope somebody does for next episode. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been a co-host, Ben.
I've been the co-host, Brett, and maybe next time Ben will remember what episode it is.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure I have it this time. I'm pretty sure this is 7.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Get the fuck out!